UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. I'm your host, L.A. Marzulli. This is our weekly UFO update. I think you'll find it interesting. We'll be talking about cattle mutilations, which was just on Tucker Carlson, and of course a professor from Stanford who is giving his opinion on people who get too close to UFOs and what the aftermath is. We'll get into that so much more after a word from our sponsor. Folks, how about this? Noble Gold, one of the sponsors of our show, has just been picked by Consumer Affairs, the rating agency, as the overall #1 gold IRA company in the United States. How about them apples? Talk to the team today if you're thinking about precious metals. And if you're quick, they're giving away an incredible 1/10 of an ounce American Eagle gold-proof coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover. Folks, you can't go wrong with Noble Gold. Call the team now, 877-646-5347. That's 876-646-5347. Or to find out more, please visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Once again, noblegoldinvestments.com. First of all, let me apologize for the distortion in yesterday's in post. We were on a mound, and we've noticed that in sometimes it's distorted, sometimes it's not. John Adam was working camera 2 with the audio. I had a lapel mic on. He did not hear any distortion in his headphones, so I apologize for that. Maybe something else is going on, something technical, something supernatural, I don't know. But we're in Pennsylvania right now, taking a couple of days seeing Peggy's family, but it doesn't stop what we're doing. And of course, Tucker Carlson was talking about cattle mutilations, and I'll get to that first, and then of course we'll get to the professor on the other side. In Watchers, our very first film on Watchers, and if you're interested, you can go to streaming.lamarzulli.net, watch it, download it, learn something. We talked about cattle mutilations years ago. I wrote about them in my first book, Nephilim. Look, they're real. They happen. And law enforcement has never brought anyone any charges at all in decades and decades and decades of the phenomenon happening. So let me tell you what it is. So, you've got a head of cattle, maybe 50 head, whatever, and it's getting in dust, so you go out there in your 4x and you check them, and everybody's, laying down and there's lowing and everything that cows do. Everything looks really good. So you go home and have a nice dinner and you sleep in, and next morning you get up and there's buzzards flying around the pasture where you had all your head of cattle bedded down for the night. So you get out there and the herd is on one section of the field, but you instantly notice that the buzzards are circling, but no buzzards have landed. There is a cow laying on its side. So you figure, wow, I wonder what's going on, because you don't know. And you get up there and immediately something is weird, something is strange, because what you see is that the cow's jaw has been completely surgically removed. It's been excised. All the flesh has been completely taken out of it. You look at the cow's udders. They have been surgically cored out. The anus has been surgically cored out. You sit there and you go, oh my gosh. So you call law enforcement. You call a veterinarian. The veterinarian comes out and he does a necropsy on the cattle. He finds out that there's no blood in the cattle. This has been going on literally for decades, specifically in the Southwest, but also in Kansas. In fact, we did an interview with a woman who came on the record and talked about her experience as a rancher with cattle mutilation. And as I said earlier, law enforcement has never brought anyone into court or charges against anybody, because there are no perpetrators. It's something supernatural. If you look at this clip from Tucker's show, you'll see that the cows are in the forefront, but in the background we see a disc and then the cattle being flown up into the ship. People have reported seeing that. In my opinion, that's exactly what's going on. So you say, LA, why are they doing this? We've talked about this before. The blood of cows, bovine blood, can be substituted for humans. Now this is where it goes off the rails, and Tucker has not even broached this subject yet. He's sort of dancing around the perimeter of really what the end game is. The end game, as Chuck Missler said decades ago, is to create hybrids, hybrids. Jesus warns us it'll be like the days of Noah when he returns. What differentiates the days of Noah? Of course, is the presence of the Nephilim. What are the Nephilim? The hybrid of fallen angels, women of earth, combining that DNA to create a hybrid entity known as the Nephilim. Well, the same thing is going on now. We've interviewed people who have been abducted, specifically women, who has been abducted. Guess what? They talk about being impregnated. And in the first trimester, they're re-abducted, the child is taken from them. Now, I can't prove this, it's conjecture, but it's based on lots of research. Linda Moulton Howe's award-winning documentary, Strange Harvest, talked about this, and I saw this way back in the 90s, and it's very unsettling to even get into this, because something really weird is going on. But she talks about the fact that all the blood is drained from the cattle. Well, now that we know that bovine hemoglobin, bovine blood, can be used in human transfusions. So this is what, it's conjecture on my part, but it's based on lots of research. They, right, the Greys, the fallen angels, are using this blood from the cattle when they re-abduct the woman in the first trimester and they take the child out of her womb. That child is then put in some sort of an artificial womb, and they're using the blood of cows to do it. Now, I can't prove that. What I can tell you is this: we have heard from people who have been on board the ships and have seen rooms filled with vats and different fetuses, different babies in developing. So that's what it's for. Now, Tucker danced all around that, but they never drilled in on why are they doing this? What's the end game? What's the end game? It is truly a strange, very strange harvest. And as I said earlier, it's been ongoing. I want to address a couple of other things. We do, just for you newcomers that are here, first of all, hit the subscribe button. Second of all, thank you for coming here. But we do 3 different shows. We do On the Trail of a Nephilim, where you saw Mondo and I standing near the so-called alligator mound in Ohio when we did a Q&A there, which I thought was really good. And again, we had problems with the sound, but we didn't hear it when we were recording it, so something weird. But we do On the Trail of a Nephilim. We do UFO Update on Wednesdays usually, but because of our schedule being on the road, it's today, and here we go. And then, of course, we do Supernatural Confrontations, where I do a Zoom chat with people that have had supernatural experiences, whether they're incredibly angelic and wonderful, or they're of a demonic part where they call out to Jesus and then they're delivered. So if you're coming here as a Bigfoot enthusiast, I do talk about Sasquatch sometimes, but not often. So that's the format. Usually Monday is Supernatural Confrontations. Tuesdays is On the Trail of a Nephilim. Wednesday is UFO Update. Thursday, On the Trail of a Nephilim. And of course, we close out the week with Supernatural Confrontations. And we will post probably 2 shows today because we've been on the road and it's just a lot of balls in the air. So you'll probably get 2 shows today. The second one will be Supernatural Confrontations. Anyway, let's get to the second one. So Tucker has a professor from Stanford University. I think it's Professor Nolan. I've actually but I've emailed this man and had some sort of communication with him years ago, actually, about the Peruvian DNA. Interesting. So they went to him because what they're seeing, what they're discovering is people that have had close encounters of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th kind. In other words, you're on board, you're in proximity to these ships. Something happens mentally. And it's not good. There are medical conditions that accompany this type of close encounters. And we've heard this before, but now it's on Tucker Carlson. So is this the 10th rung of a disclosure ladder? It might be. The fact that they're rolling it out and continue to roll it out is absolutely amazing. Anyway, folks, that's it. Thanks so much for watching our UFO update. Remember, UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. Thanks so much for watching.